Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. It's me, Rosalie. Welcome to the Ultimate World Music Reaction Channel. Guess where we're going today? We are going to take a ride to Scotland. I am so excited when I see the list of different countries that we're exploring just grow, and then diving into different and more artists from these various countries. It's awesome. I'm so happy that you joined the ride. I call my followers, I call my subscribers the ride or dies, my riders. So click that subscribe button, join the ride. We're going to check out an artist named Paolo Nutini. Now, he is from Scotland, from a town in Scotland called Paisley. Now, when I heard his name, however, I thought that doesn't sound very Scottish. That is because his father, Alfredo, is a Scot of Italian descent. That kind of explains the last name Nutini to me. But he is an artist, and I'm going to be checking out his song, Iron Sky, the Abbey Road live session. This song was put on YouTube a few years back, but has over 73 million views. Can you believe that? I had never heard of him. I'm gonna check it out. And if you want to listen to the song directly, or you want to go follow this artist, make sure to check the links in the description to follow, subscribe. Let's support these artists that we're checking out together. Today's shout out goes to my awesome patron and supporter, Steven. Thank you so much, Steven, for buying me coffees, for your support, and for your suggestions. I'm really honored that you're part of these rides. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, let's dive right in without further ado. Here we go. I'm excited. Something new. I have no idea what to expect, by the way. All that I know is that he's from Scotland. I don't know what type of music, what this song is about, but I think that's kind of cool. And then as I explore the artist more and I learn and you guys educate me, my horizon expands. But I like just not knowing much. I think that's awesome. So here we go. That bass has been played. I like it. It's always cool to have a juicy bass intro. Okay.
We are proud individuals living for the city. But the flame couldn't go much higher. We find God and religions to paint us with salvation, but no one, no, nobody can give you the power to rise over love and over hate. Through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over freer and into freedom.
I am mind blown right now. Would you, if you saw him walking on the street, think that he sings like this? If you knew nothing about this man. Everybody's different. To me, when he opened his mouth and started singing, I'm like, I did not expect him to have that type of voice. Obviously, he's singing because millions have watched this. I did not expect that man with that voice. He's incredible. That rasp, oh my gosh. Ooh, we'll talk about everything in a moment. Let me go back a bit.
To rise over love and over hate. Through this iron sky that's fast becoming our mind, over freer and into freedom. Oh, that light left dripping down the wall of a dream that cannot breathe in its harsh reality. Mass confusion
misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Let us use that power. Let us all unite.
And we'll rise over love and over hate. Through this iron sky that's fast becoming all night. Over freedom, into freedom, into freedom, from which we'll rise. Over love and over hate. Through this iron sky that's fast becoming all night. Over freedom, into freedom, rain on me, rain on me, rain on me.
Dang, y'all. Dang. Man, you guys are incredibly awesome. My goodness. You know, sometimes I wish I could just like, maybe one day, we'll see, inshallah, host an event with a bunch of y'all, just come together and we just chill, we eat good food, and we listen to music. I don't know for how long. We'll go from listening to things like this and getting lost to jamming out and dancing to windmilling. This is, oh my goodness. Guys, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect when it came to lyrics, vocal performance, genre. I had no idea, and I'm glad because that gives me the most, as much as possible. The observer will always influence the observation, but as much as possible, an objective view. Thank you, Stephen. I don't know about Paolo Nutini, but what an artist. He has almost 500,000 subscribers. We've got to get that number up. He is incredible. This song was put out on their 2014 album, has over 73 million views. It makes sense. It's been listened to so much. It doesn't make sense that he doesn't have more subscribers. So let's change that. Click the links in the description below. And while you're at it, subscribe here too. But this is incredible. I had no idea what he was going to sing like, but I would have not guessed that. I would have not guessed, oh, he's about to have this super unique, raspy voice. I didn't know what to expect, but I think if you would have asked me, what do you think he's going to do? I don't think that would have been it. That surprised me. The rasp and tone and texture of his voice, the way he was singing this song, and it fits well with the lyrics, we'll talk about those in a second, just gave it this additional emotional vibe and this idea of a plea. And that was so fitting. You could tell how he was just immersed in the music. Just even the intro, the bass starting this one, I love it. It's so cool with music how you have different genres, different songs, different instruments that lead the way and create the vibe. And that's important because a lot of times, even based on a TED Talk I saw, it takes only a few seconds for us to decide if we like a song or not. And a lot of times we'll stick to that opinion even if we listen a little further. That if we like it, we continue liking it. If we dislike it, we will continue disliking it. Not always, but just from studies that have been done, supposedly, that's often the case. So the instruments that begin a piece matter, right? The foundation of something matters. And so for it to start with that bass was already like, ooh, I like this. Where is this going? And it looked like a worn bass, which also was very cool to see that these are real musicians that are playing these instruments. Then we had the keyboard, which carried the song beautifully. We had that electric guitar, not only with the different riffs in the beginning, but even with the chords that carried the song throughout, like just really beautifully working together. The ladies in the background adding those high notes, and then him with his rasp, just crazy, crazy, beautiful song. I mean, I was getting lost in it. And then that snippet, and that was very, very special too. That snippet where you heard the part of a speech, that is actually that was a snippet from Charlie Chaplin's speech in his Hitler lampooning. And to lampoon means to publicly criticize. In his Hitler lampooning film from 1940, which was called The Great Dictator. So that was a snippet of Charlie Chaplin. And then even how he ended the song saying, "Rain on me," that reminded me of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech. I have it where he said, "Let freedom ring." So to me, when I heard "Let it rain," speaking of freedom, I saw a little bit of a parallel there. But the lyrics, let's talk about those. "We're proud individuals living on the city," which is also interesting if we're thinking iron, right? Brick, iron, concrete. "But the flames couldn't go much higher. We find gods and religions to paint us with salvation, but nobody can give you the power to rise over love and over hate through this iron sky that's fast becoming our minds." So when I hear city, I'm thinking concrete, buildings, iron, metal, man-made constructs. Then it says the iron sky that's fast becoming our minds. If the sky is iron, right, this metal, you can't go any higher. So if our minds are becoming this, how are we going to be free? And then it says that's life left dripping down the walls. Oh, that's life left dripping down the walls of a dream that cannot breathe. Right? If you're under an iron sky, you can't rise, you can't breathe. In this harsh reality, mass confusion, spoon-fed to the blind. Brilliant, right? Metal spoons serves now to define our cold society. Wow. And that too makes me think, right? Cities where everybody's just going through the motions. You're not in touch with nature, not in touch with yourself. Busy, hustle, bustle, metal, concrete. A society that seems cold. There's mass confusion, mass propaganda, mass agenda. If that's not fitting to our day and age, I don't know what is. From which will rise over love, over hate, from this iron sky that's fast becoming our minds, over fear and into freedom. Powerful, rising over love and over hate. Now I would love to hear what he means by rising over love, because I wouldn't want to go over love in the sense of bypassing it, but I do want to go over hate, like get over that, bypass that, or break through that, or get over fear into freedom, right? When you go over something, it could imply you're overcoming it to break into something better, right? You get over fear, you get over hate, now you can have freedom. But why would I want to get over love? Unless we interpret that preposition over a little differently, not in the sense of overcoming love, but stepping out and over, into. I don't know. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. Now that was the spoken part. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, dictators die. Fitting to where this snippet from Charlie Chaplin comes from. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. Interesting also, because in Martin Luther King Jr.'s, right, it talks about freedom and power to the people. As long as men die, liberty will never perish. Don't give yourself to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You're not machines. You're not cattle. You are men. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Let us use that power. We'll rise over love, rise over hate through the iron sky. And that is interesting too, just to calling it an iron sky. Literally speaking, that makes me think of metal, something that's blocking you, right? But even using the word iron is fitting, because the Iron Curtain was a political boundary that was dividing Europe into separate area towards the end of World War II and for a while after. And so to call it iron sky when we're talking separation, when we're talking machines, when we're talking people being confused and blinded. Now integrating a snippet from Charlie Chaplin, who is from a piece that was lampooning Hitler, right? World War II. So very interesting way to integrate history, integrate historic speeches, and have a song that speaks of freedom, breaking free from confusion, from this iron sky. Now, in the beginning, he also says something interesting where he says people, finding God in religion to pain salvation, but no one can give you the power to rise over love. And I would personally say I don't agree with that. I do believe that faith is powerful. I do believe in God. But I do believe that humans have constructed and created various kinds of religions at our attempt of defining God and reaching him and explaining him. That often has led to a lot of division and war and hurt and pain and suffering and confusion. So I do see where that's coming from to a degree, right? People looking for gods and religions, looking for salvation, but no one can give you that power. You have to make choices to break out of that freedom. And it's interesting because even from a psychological standpoint, if we talk existential therapy and death anxiety, all of us have it, and it manifests in different ways, sometimes in ways we don't even realize. And it's very subconscious, a lingering fear of our mortality. It's a topic that is hard to grasp. And in our desire to find some peace, to explain mortality, to understand the finite, even though we have a desire for the infinite in our hearts, people often do turn to things like faith and religion, sometimes to deny their fear of death, sometimes to have to not deal with it, right, in hope of heaven and something bigger. That sometimes can be a cop-out. That sometimes can be a way of denying their death anxiety, not even wanting to deal with it, right? I'm not going to acknowledge death and my fear of the mortal, and I'm just going to believe in the fact that I'm immortal and that more is coming. Sometimes you have people who try to defy death and they go do crazy things because, they're dealing with their death anxiety in that way. Sometimes you have people who try to deal with it through crazy video games where they have multiple lives after they've died in the video game. There's so many different things people do without going into too much detail during their development and in life to deal or not deal with death anxieties. And the question as old as time when it comes to our mortality and death. And so faith can be used in those ways, but it can also be a very powerful tool, in my opinion, to believe in something bigger than ourselves. So I don't know if I would fully agree with that, right? To say, the gods and religions we paint that we look for salvation in, that can't give us any power. Now, if we use it as a cop-out, yes, I would agree that that's not going to give us power. If we use it as an excuse, if we use it as a crutch to not have to take responsibility for our actions and mistakes, or if we use it as a weapon to harm others in the name of God, that's harmful, and that just causes all this destruction. And that's often where you will find a lot of manipulation, people being brainwashed up into the thousands to destroy and hurt or believe a certain thing about people based on what they were brainwashed with, right? And we see that in World War II. We see that with Hitler. We see that with different things that have happened over the course of history with humanity, where people have listened to certain messages, even in today's day and age, if we're not careful, because there's agendas everywhere. Right? We're being fed certain things, and if we're not careful, we're very quick to follow one stream or the other instead of breaking free, breaking through that iron sky, working towards freedom, overcoming the hate and the fear, breaking into freedom, out of the confusion, out of the manipulation, out of the bondage of these machines with the machine minds. And that could be, looked at as technology, our phones, computers, the things that have us in bondage, that are not human. We're not cattle, we're not machines, but yet we're controlled by these machines. That could be interpreted as the machines like warfare, right? Which is so neat when you hear these different songs. When you hear these different songs, I'm thinking Sound of Silence, right? Not being slave to the neon god. I'm thinking Sabaton and their interpretation of Christmas truce, right? This reflection on history, taking history, combining it with a beautiful lesson and a call to action, a plea to remind people to break free into freedom. Freedom reign on me. Beautifully written song. Like, dude. Wow. Released 2014, millions and millions of views. Paolo Nutini. Guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This was an absolute masterpiece in my opinion. I would like to know what you think about it. What else you hear in the lyrics, how you would interpret this. But these are my thoughts. Thank you so much, Stephen, for this suggestion. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe. Check the links below to say thanks if you like, to buy coffee, get merch, become a patron. But stay tuned for lots more. I'll talk to you soon. Heyo!